So you're an MSc club and you want to host your next event. So we'll walk you through the steps for all the forms that need to be submitted prior to your event and after your event. So to start off with, you can find all your MSc club related forms on the MScA website. In Google, type IV MScA and click on the first link. Under the Clubs tab, you'll find the club event form. On this page, we have a brief description of the different steps that need to take place, and also note that all items need to be sent to iv.mscassociation@gmail.com, as well as the current MScA VP Finance. On the Download Here button, you'll find all the forms that are pertinent to hosting events. Now you'll notice that this is an 11-page document, but don't be alarmed. It's possible that you only need to submit one, maybe two, and at most three. So the first one that we'll walk you through is the event proposal form. And this one here needs to be submitted at least 2 weeks prior to the date of the event. And it covers everything from event basics, so who the point of contact is, if the MScA has any questions in relation to the event, who the club name is, and everything else in terms of the intended audience and expected turnout and any resources required. And please note that the expected turnout, there are ways to estimate this, such as setting up a Facebook event page and getting a rough estimate of how many people might show up. And if you do follow this procedure, we would suggest that you use a discount factor, since Facebook event likes or interested in going roughly translates to 50% actual turnout. So please keep that in mind when you're filling out the expected turnout session. The second section to fill out is the event timeline. And this here is primarily used for MScA event promotion purposes. So do you have any Facebook event page links or Zoom links or event posters? And the purpose of this is that it'll all go into the MScA Weekly Vine, where we promote everything happening on campus through the MScA. So please include all those things over here. And then also add the promotional timeline. Do you want a first link or promotion to be taking place 2 weeks prior to your event? Do you want one to be taking 1 week prior to your event, or at multiple points leading up to the event? Please have that in here so we can also adjust our promotional timeline for your event. And lastly, event budgeting. So here's where you'll fill out all your finance related items. So what's the cost? Is there any profit? Are you requesting financing from the MScA? And if you're not, then there's no need to actually fill out the event cost breakdown. And so once you've completed this form and you're ready to submit it, make sure that your club's VP Finance and co-presidents or single president sign this and date the form as well. And once this is complete, make sure that it's submitted to the MScA Gmail account as well as the VP Finance at least 2 weeks prior to the event date, so that the funds can be approved and any discrepancies can be resolved prior to the event. And in the appendices, you'll see some examples on event cost breakdown samples, as well as how to fill out the charity proposal sample if you do have a profit that you would like to go to a charity rather than keeping the funds internally to host future events. Next, we'll move on to the non-event related budget request form.
So the non-event related budget request form, essentially at a high level, this form is for any request of funds that are not related to the hosting of a specific event. Essentially, this could be used for requesting of supplies or utilities or printing requests, things of that nature. So on the first page, please fill out the form with great detail regarding the point of contact for your club and the date. Moving towards the second page, we ask for a thorough breakdown for understanding the purpose of where the funds are going. So please, if you could eloquently fill that second part out with utmost detail so we can have a good understanding of what these funds are being used for. And then the third, the cost estimate. If this is a multiple line transaction where there are kind of multiple items being requested, if you could please specify the item, the cost per item, and the total item cost, and give us an amount requested. Ultimately, we ask for a club signature and the relevant details. Do not forget to send this form to the Ivy MSc Association at gmail.com, as well as the current year's VP of Finance in the MSCA.
Yes, once the event has occurred or the expense has been occurred, you will have to fill in this reimbursement form to get the money back. So you have to fill in this form along with the receipt and send it to our Gmail and the VP of Finance. So for the first page, you can see that you have to put in a detailed explanation of the purchase. The second point is the receipt date and also the amount of requested reimbursement. And then move on to the second page, which is simply sign and then date it, and then you can send it back to us to get us to process the reimbursement.
And that covers the 3 forms that could be pertinent to any club-related operations. And so once again, please send these forms to the ivy.mscassociation@gmail.com, as well as the VP Finance, and make sure that the event proposal form and or the non-event related budget request form are sent 2 weeks prior to when the event needs to take place or when the expense needs to be incurred. And lastly, the reimbursement form should be sent within 14 days of the expense or the event actually taking place.